Brenda Frese in Maryland. Well, the Terps have not been to the Final Four since 1989. You are watching the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbitz. Utah has never even been to an Elite Eight, much less the Final Four. These two teams meeting for the first time in their histories. The winner will take on the winner of North Carolina, Tennessee, Duke, Connecticut, LSU, Stanford. Everybody yet to play, so the first ticket will be punched tonight to go to Boston. Welcome to the pit. Pam Ward along with Hall of Famer Nancy Lieberman. The stomach flu has been running rampant through Maryland. A cheerleader had to get an IV and go to the hospital. The band got it. 2 coaches. And now 4 players, including 2 starters in Laura Harper and Kristi Toliver. How do you think it will affect those players on the court?
I don't really think it's going to affect them or Brenda Frese. This is a chance to get to the Final Four. You suck it up. They didn't practice today. They are ready to do what they believe their destiny is, and that's be a Final Four team.
And we have a couple of great stars to look at. Let's start with Kim Smith.
Kim Smith is amazing. We know she's 4-time Mountain West Player of the Year, but she had a subpar performance in the semifinals, only 7 points on 3 for 13. Crystal Langhorne is off the chain, 32 points and 12 rebounds last 2 games.
And being off the charts, how about Julie Larson and Marissa Coleman? Both of them have hit 50% of their threes this year, so they are the co-leaders in the nation shooting the long ball. This telecast is available on ESPN HD, presented by the Dish Network. And we welcome you into Albuquerque, the highest elevation of any metropolitan city in America. And we are underway. That is Kristi Toliver, number 20. She is the most affected right now by the stomach flu. She says she has not slept in a couple of nights.
Well, I am anxious to see the defense at Utah. See, they're going to take away Harper as best they can and Langhorne in the middle.
Well, it was a good job right there of collapsing on both Harper and Langhorne. Langhorne was spectacular against Baylor the other day, a career-high tying 34 points and 16 rebounds. 2 straight 30-point games for her. Shea Duran misses everything, and the loose ball picked up by Jessica Perry and the Utes. Shona Thornburn, that is their point guard, very talented senior Canadian.
Maryland is going to come out. Both teams are going to play man-to-man defense for the most part, although Utah is going to sag theirs.
And underneath, Perry misses over Langhorne, but they get a fresh start.
You have to have great principles of man-to-man. Ball-to-player relationship to not get caught on the screens, down screens, cross screens. That is what Utah does best in their motion offense.
And Maryland, they were preached. Their coaches told them to be very patient as Kim Smith will head to the free throw line. Laura Harper whistled for the personal foul. Harper got into foul trouble the other day against Baylor. Elaine Elliott has done a wonderful job, 23 seasons, the winningest coach in Utah history, and now in her first ever Elite Eight. Brenda Frese, in only 4 years, has taken Maryland to its 3rd straight NCAA appearance and her first Elite Eight appearance. Maryland has been to 4 Elite Eights overall. And what's wrong with Kim Smith? She had a bad game the other day, scoring only 7 points, and she misses her first free throw.
Okay, her release point is different. I really believe that right now Kim Smith, who averages 36 minutes a game, is fatigued. She has changed that release point. She only went to the foul line 2 times in the game against BC. If you're not shooting the ball well, manufacture points if you're a scorer from the foul line.
She averages over 19 points a game, but had only 7 points on 3 of 13 shooting against Boston College. Shea Duran's going to head to the free throw line because Heidi Carlson nipped Shea on the hand. It's a big win over Boston College, 57-54, but the 2 stars did not shoot well.
No, they didn't shoot well. You can't really play well when you go 6 for 26. These guys average 32 points a game, 15 rebounds. They must come up big in this game. And the other thing, Pamela, they are auditioning for their draft position in the WNBA draft. Coaches want to see, can those guys play against a team that's big, quick, and athletic?
They are tied up at 1 apiece as Duran hits 1 of 2. Duran, a junior, the only upperclassman who starts. Jade Perry has already checked in for Maryland, another sophomore. Jade, one of the players who was affected by the flu, but we're told she's feeling much better today. As Larson picks up the loose ball, and it goes in. Julie Larson, the 3-point specialist, gets a rare 2.
I think the big mismatch on the floor, that's why Harper came out of the game, is Kim Smith plays the 4. She is too quick for Harper, and she might be too quick for Jade Perry.
Harper also a little bit under the weather, said she was able to eat a little bit of bread and some bland chicken today, but not full strength. We are full strength at full strength because we go over to Rob Stone.
Thanks, Pam. Saturday night, Utah allowed 42 points in the paint. Meanwhile, Maryland sophomore sensation Crystal Langhorne has gone for 64 points in the last 2 games. Coach Elliott said to us it would be a victory if they could limit Langhorne to 20 points tonight. To achieve that, Utah is committed to not changing themselves early on, instead opting to wait and see what the tenor of the game will be. They will move 6'1" Kim Smith out of the post to avoid further beating down of her weary body. Otherwise, early on at least, it's up to those Utah guards to limit passes into the post.
Meanwhile, Crystal Langhorne has not taken a shot. Duran missing, so they're not getting the ball inside at all, Nancy.
No, they're doing a great job of taking away the right shoulder of Crystal Langhorne. She's a lefty. She likes to catch and go right shoulder to the basket so she can finish left.
Langhorne has yet to take a shot. She does have 1 rebound, and that one looked good, and it is good. That's the 50% three-point shooter, Julie Larson. She has 5 of Utah's 6 points. Langhorne working against Jessica Perry. Perry is sophomore, one of 6 Canadians, and now there's the switch. And Jade Perry, there's a couple of Perrys, Jade for Maryland, Jessica for Utah, and Jade, yet another one of those affected players, scores.
Well, you know what, it's almost you play that other post position by committee. Harper and Perry split time, and Perry has great elevation, fade, and create separation.
Maryland's first field goal. Kim Smith has 2 non-double-figure scoring games this season. Both of them have occurred at the pit. Against New Mexico here, she had a season-low 6 points. 2 days ago against Boston College, only 7. And her career at the pit is the pits, considering that and look at the 17% from 3 especially. That is so non-Kim Smith.
No, it's not Kim Smith, but I have to tell you, some players play well in certain buildings. Some have a phobia in different buildings. For her, it's here at New Mexico.
She is yet to get on the score sheet. That will work. Christy Tolliver didn't sleep at all last night. Gets that 3 to go down. And we're tied up at 6. Maryland scored 5 in a row. Elaine Elliott said she looked at Smith's scoring drought here at the pit she looked at it the other way, Nancy, thinking, well, that means she's ready to break out. So she's trying to put a positive spin on it as Duran forces the turnover. And the kick keeps it with Maryland. So Julie Larson, along with Marissa Coleman, the best three-point shooters in the country. For her, it's like shooting a layup. But then Maryland comes back, dialing long distance. Christy Tolliver, we are tied up in Albuquerque.
Opening night, Indians White Sox, Sunday at 8 on ESPN2.
Folks, I've been informed we'll be in a holding pattern for the next hour.
It's time to play Take On Orbitz.
Today's players need to alert each of their clients they'll be late for a meeting from midair.
Oh.
Ready? Go. Done. Orbitz notifies anyone you're running late automatically.
Introducing Orbitz TLC. You get treated like a VIP only when you book on Orbitz and go.
Nothing is more powerful than the truth, and the truth is more Americans choose Chevy than any other brand.
See why during the Chevy NCAA March Madness event. Check out Chevy Cobalt LS with an EPA estimated 34 highway miles per gallon. Get a 2006 Cobalt LS Coupe with an MSRP starting at $12,990. Or get it for less during the Chevy NCAA March Madness event. See your local Chevy dealer.
What happened?
I didn't see them.
Oh. Looks like I have to go to Home Depot. Buy all new stuff. Yes.
The new power equipment is here. The Home Depot has all the best brands in lawn and garden power all under one roof. plus a handy online power guide.
The Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
The Hilton family, 9 distinct hotels, one simple philosophy.
Ortho Weed Be Gone Max, sprayed here. Ordinary weed killer, here. Weed Be Gone's weed targeting formula killed the weeds, but not the grass. The ordinary weed killer killed both. Ortho Weed Be Gone Max kills weeds, not lawns.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is presented by Orbitz.com. It's that easy. Orbitz and go. And in part by Chevrolet, an American revolution. And the Home Depot. You can do it. We can help.
Welcome back to Albuquerque. Maryland and Utah tied up at 6 apiece. Shona Thorburn with the shot. And it's pinballed out to Utah as they keep possession.
You know, Pam, when Utah runs their motion offense, it's almost 4 out. Right now they have Kim Smith underneath, but they run so many sets to get her open, just like that. That was a set play coming out of the timeout, starting her opposite the ball and bringing her to it.
Kim Smith now 0 for 3 from the floor. Maryland has substituted in Ashley Newman, number 21, an outside threat, as is Marissa Coleman. There's your other 50% three-point shooter on the floor.
Well, Larson and Coleman are tied, as Pam alluded to. They lead the nation in three-point shooting. She's so much bigger. She has such a great sight for the rim.
Marissa is 6'1". Maryland has scored the last 8 points to take a three-point lead. Thorburn left all alone off the rim. Langhorne with her second board. She has yet to take a shot. Maryland's taken 4 threes, and Langhorne hasn't taken a shot.
Well, that has a lot to do with the defense. As Duran goes to the basket, Utah has led the nation in scoring defense 4 times the last 10 years, so it's not a surprise.
And how about Jessica Perry getting inside of Langhorne for her first bucket? The sophomore from Guelph, Ontario, had 8 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocks, and 2 steals. A solid game as they beat Boston College 57-54. So they've beaten an ACC team already, trying to make it 2 in a row. Langhorne's first shot off the mark.
Yeah, but the thing about that first shot, they sent her to her left shoulder, away from her sweet spot. She wants to go right. That's her bread and butter.
A very good scouting report by the Utah staff under Elaine Elliott. And look at Langhorne's numbers. Just 10 points a game more in the NCAAs.
Okay, you're playing percentage if you're playing Utah. You're giving up this shot and hoping that Newman, who had 7 points in 23 minutes last game, doesn't knock them down.
But she does knock down the 3. Ashley, a sophomore from Shelbyville, Tennessee. Maryland's hit 3 but 6 threes. And Larson being guarded by Coleman with a decided height advantage going to Coleman. Newman also bigger than Thorburn. Good pass inside of the cutting Smith. She can't buy one.
No, Kim Smith has got to put those down right now. You know, she has trouble during the course of the season keeping weight on. She's tired. Nobody works harder than her. Takes extra reps before and after practices, and it's starting to show.
She is 0 for 4 in this game. For more on Kim Smith, let's go back over to Rob Stone.
She is absolutely worn down. A direct quote today from Coach Elliott on Smith. Smith just went 3 of 13 from the field Saturday night. Her all-out style of play and off-season competitive schedule is definitely catching up to her. Coach essentially, guys, gave her yesterday off. And when Kim does not fight that, Coach knows that Kim knows she needs some rest. But Pam, this afternoon at shoot-around, you and I both noticed her shots and her legs looked like they were back.
Yeah, but a little different when the whistle starts and you're being guarded by these Terrapins. But yeah, Kim Smith, Coach said if she doesn't resist, that means she's tired, and she did not resist. She did not practice at all yesterday, just watched. They had a very loose shoot-around today. Joe Tina Felipe, who had a solid game against Boston College, misses her first shot. And Smith works harder than anyone Elaine Elliott says she's ever seen at any level. Perry off the mark, rebound to Warburton. Morgan Warburton, a freshman from Price, Utah, in. And this is it. Utah basically going 7 deep, and we have their 2 substitutions in now.
Yeah, but their 2 freshman players off the bench had stellar games in the semifinals. They really played well, Felipe and Warburton.
Thorburn now 0 for 3 from the floor. to go with Smith's 0 for 4. Those are their 2 stars.
And one of the things that Maryland is not doing right now is you saw that turnover. They're not getting to the foul line. They have taken 17 more foul shots than teams have shot in this tournament.
There's a good sign. Shona Thorburn knocking down the 3. The senior from Hamilton, Ontario, 2-time first-team All-Mountain West and a teammate on the Canadian team with Kim Smith, the national team.
Well, Utah's defense is man-to-man, but it's a sagging man. They play inside for the most part of the three-point line, and if the ball goes inside, they're collapsing.
Marissa Coleman, another 3. Maryland is the long-distance team tonight, something we expected from Utah.
Absolutely. They're settling now, and maybe that's the sign of youth. 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and a junior run the floor most of the time for the Terrapins.
Maryland has 3 threes and only 1-2. Smith rebounds the Larson miss. Thorburn takes a step inside, rebound Ashley Newman. So the Terrapins leading Utah by 1, a trip to the Final Four on the line. They will play the winner of North Carolina, Tennessee.
Utah has never been to a Final Four. Maryland the last time was 1989.
Wow, Jade Perry, nice move over Felipe, as Jade now has 4. Yep, 1989, the Vicky Bullock team. Dina Tate was the point guard. They went out to Tacoma and lost to Tennessee in the semifinal. Long time coming, trying to get back. Utah's never even been to an Elite 8 before today. Good pass inside. Smith to Felipe. And you have to give Kim Smith credit. Even though she's not scoring, she has been doing other things.
Absolutely, Pamela. What happens on this team, it's a clinic on how to move without the ball, set screens, slip picks. You must be on your A game mentally, defensively, to play against Utah.
She had 6 assists in the win over Boston College 2 days ago. Shaderon, that's a long 3. Rebound battled for, and Newman is fouled by Felipe. So Kim Smith, so you're not scoring, you can help in other ways, and she is, and they're hanging tough with the Terps. This year marks the 25th anniversary of the NCAA Women's Championship. To celebrate, we're spending the season counting down the top 25 championship moments. Time now to spotlight moment number 4, brought to you by Singular. Louisiana Tech had a dream, but Tennessee had a dynasty.
The first team ever to go 39-0. And they have won their 3rd straight national championship. Unprecedented in the NCAA.
And there is the most wins by the schools. Tennessee, of course, with the 6 titles. Gino Auriemma, 1 behind with 5. And all those teams making it into the tournament. Stanford and Tennessee and Connecticut, the ones left. Georgia with that heartbreaking loss last night. You got to give Barbara Turner credit for making that. That's a once-in-a-lifetime shot for Barbara.
Oh, my gosh, that was absolutely amazing. And it's already instant classic. And Tennessee went on to win, by the way, 3 national championships. And that spurred Pam to taking hip-hop dance class lessons.
Yeah, because I have a lot of catching up to do. Arlie Norez has checked in. She's not an offensive threat, and she takes a shot right away and misses it.
Well, let me tell you right now, 46 points in the paint Maryland had against Boston College the other night. Today they have none. Langhorne is 0 for 1 with no points. The game plan is working for Utah. Make Maryland a jump shot shooting team.
Oh, my goodness, that was nice. Thorburn with a little fake and then went right to the hoop. She has 5 points, and Utah leads Maryland. Utah, the 5th seed in the Albuquerque Regional. They were the Mountain West Conference champions and have come in winners of 7 straight games. Christy Tolliver, swish. That's a 2 for Tolliver as Maryland regains the lead. Laura Harper remaining on the bench for Maryland. Warburton, very talented freshman, number 15 with the basketball. One of the most talented guards Elaine Elliott says she's ever had, but there you see Coleman's reach.
Well, that's a little bit opposite of what Elaine Elliott would want. Normally, early shots, if you miss it, you don't have good rebounding lanes, and you get beat in transition at the other end. The ball really needs to stay in Shona Thorburns' hand. She's got a lot of Nash in her. She's got a lot of MVP off the dribble and setting up her teammates.
As Heidi Carlson will head to the line, as Christy Tolliver, again, the most recently sick of the Terrapins, hit by the stomach flu, and she's got 5 points and nothing but net on that one.
Maryland coming down in
break. On the break, Newman hit by Tolliver. And Elaine Elliott told us at shoot-around today that that was one of the concerns as well, is that they would get caught up in Maryland's transition. Shea Duran coming back in for Maryland as Tolliver takes a break.
Well, so much of Maryland's success is going to depend on if Shea Duran lifts her game. She was 1 for 8, 4 points in the game against Baylor. She really has to lift her game, knock down a couple of shots, and get her confidence back.
She did have 5 assists, but the shot definitely going south. In fact, she's only hitting 36% of her shots in the tournament. Great save. Thorburn in and out. Boy, a great hustle save by Carlson, but they were not able to convert.
Okay, Maryland has to really work to get the ball inside right now. Now they're forcing it. The pass is too long, not enough air on it.
2006 NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbitz continues on ESPN tonight after us at 9 Eastern with the San Antonio final at Stanford and LSU. Part of a week of madness presented by Harley-Davidson on ESPN. Stanford with a very impressive win over Oklahoma to get into the regional final.
If Utah is holding the basketball, that plays into the hands of Maryland. You want to move the ball. Maryland has to jump to the ball and make the cutters go behind.
Harper back into the game. She's only played a couple of minutes. Trying to get her strength back up. Langhorne can't hold on to it. And she is triple teamed, gets around it, and finally, Crystal Langhorne, 12 minutes plus into the game, gets her first basket.
Kim, this reminds me of what Stanford did with Courtney Paris. They were committed, as you see, the 20 possessions, only 2 shot attempts tonight. But they were committed to taking the ball and the offense out of Courtney Paris's hands with running double teams. This is exactly the game plan.
And they also wanted to get Langhorne out of the middle defensively, and Perry did just that and nailed the shot. And it's only a 2-point lead.
Well, Perry's a 31% shooter from 3-point range, so she can do that.
Langhorne fouled as she went to the basket. The Utah fans want to travel. Instead, Elaine Elliott's team whistled for the foul.
Driver Ed Carpenter, he has been released from a hospital after his involvement in that fatal crash on Sunday. No broken bones. Doctors say he has a bruised lung, has not yet been cleared to race. Complete updates on SportsCenter. Meanwhile, now let's go back to the game.
Thank you, Trey. Maryland leading Utah 20-18. The lowest seed left, Utah, the 5 seed, giving Maryland all they can handle right now.
Well, they are doing this because they have a great defensive game plan where they're just taking the ball away from Crystal Langhorne in the middle of the paint. But also offensively, if you play for Elaine Elliott, her secret is this. One, you're going to learn how to pass. You're going to learn how to set a screen. You're going to learn how to read screens and get good shots. And that's exactly what Utah has done. And they use clock and take possessions away from Maryland.
Crystal Langhorne, there you see, 34 points, tying her career high. She was spectacular. She leads the country in field goal percentage at 66.4 coming in. She's 1 for 2, which is obviously below the 66.4 today.
Yeah, but in the 3 games in the NCAA tournament, she's shooting 70%. Not only is she getting position, but she's finishing.
Kim Smith, a terrific hesitation, and now she's 0 for 5 from the floor. So she did the right thing and still missed.
It's now mental. Okay, yet this happens to players. You start missing so much that you start overthinking the game. If you think the game, you're in trouble. You have to play the game.
Right now, Smith struggling. Duran is struggling with her shot. She is missed. Shea Duran now 0 for 5, as is Smith. Thorburn, charge. As Duran got down there in a hurry. What do you think?
Yeah, well, Duran got the floor burn from Thorburn. This is great anticipation. You know what? You know that she likes to go right, and she jumped it right here. She jumped her left shoulder. I love that. That's great anticipation.
And the big two continuing to struggle in Smith and Thorburn. Smith 0 for 5, Thorburn 2 for 7, and you don't have to have your feet set for it to be a charge, by the way. For people who say Shea was moving, you have to have defensive position, and they said that she had established it, and hence the charge.
Yes, officials did a really nice job.
Now an offensive charge, or offensive foul the other way. Let's go over to Rob Stone.
Well, Pam, Nancy, you just said about a minute ago that's starting to get mental with Kim's shot selection. We asked Coach Elliott earlier today about, how did you address your two Canadian studs about their off shooting? And she said they're kids. This is a mental game. If I bring it up, it's just going to amplify in their head. So she basically just ignored it. And from that last Maryland timeout, hey, very worried about getting through all of the screens that Utah lays on the offense. That was a concern of Brenda Frese coming in, that their defense would be disciplined and patient enough to deal with Utah's motion offense.
And Rob, I agree with that, because the most important thing for players right now is you can't play the play. You have to play the game. If you play the game, you play it relaxed and confident.
And so far, so bad for them. They combined 2 for 12. Felipe missed a shot badly. Maryland, 4-point lead and the ball. They beat Baylor handily, 82-63 yesterday, or 2 days ago, excuse me, as Coleman misses again, settling for the outside shot. Langhorne not in the game now.
Well, the optimum word you used, Pam, was settle. Maryland is not the second leading scorer in the nation because they've settled. What they've done is they've pushed tempo and they've attacked you.
Tolliver misses. Yeah, only Duke scores more than Maryland's 83.8 per game in the entire country. Thorburn in pain as play continues on the other end. Newman for 3. Maryland taking outside shots, and finally the whistle stops. So there you go, you're 5-on-4, and they take a 3.
Well, this kid is in pain. She is tough as nails, Shona Thorburn.
In fact, played earlier this year on a very, very sore ankle. When we come back, we'll take a look at why Thorburn is down. Maryland only up by 4.
You think video games are incredible?
Of death.
Yeah.
On that ramp here at the pit.
It's hard enough to go up to the ramp when you're healthy.
It is a tough walk. Thorburn leaves with 5 points and 3 rebounds, but much more important, she's their starting point guard, more assists than anybody in the history of the Mountain West Conference.
Well, and the thing that I'm looking at right now, I really think the 5'4" senior Julie Larson has to get more active offensively. The great three-point shooter.
Shot clock to 1. Smith, well short, and it's a shot clock violation. Larson, Nancy, just 2 for 4, has hit 1 of her 2 threes.
This is what the ramp will do to you right here. She just hops up on the back because it is too tough to walk that tunnel to go up.
And Carol Lawson, who is in better shape than anyone I know, told me when she played here in an exhibition game, she was fine, but even she had trouble with the ramp. And the Maryland players told me yesterday, hey, we had no trouble running up and down the floor for 40 minutes, but the ramp almost killed us.
Okay, well, Larson needs to do what the mascot does and just get a little sled and slide down and use that Tennessee education.
That is a long ramp.
Yes, it is.
And it hurts. And there's no way if you have a bum ankle, you're going to get up there. Both teams shooting very poorly. Maryland taking way too many inside shots, I'm sure, for Brenda Frese's liking. Langhorne is in, and Larson is whistled for the foul.
Yeah, that time Larson went to where Tolliver was instead of beating her to a spot. You know that Tolliver wants to go to that little orange thing on the basket. That's the money, that's the rim. Good defensive players, you must drop 45-degree and slide and cut off.
Tolliver, an all-ACC freshman selection as Maryland's point guard. Ashley Newman slashing. And that's a nice attack of the basket. Newman leading the way with 7 for the Terps.
I mean, when you come from Shelbyville, Tennessee, you must know something about basketball, one of the great high school programs in the country.
First Tennessee player ever to play women's basketball at Maryland. Duran, her first foul. Ashley Newman, no outside shot settling this time as she takes it in.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
I guess the savages didn't find all of them.
John and I are thinking of going to Cancun if we can find a good deal.
It's funny. So are Dan and I.
It's time to play Take on Orbitz. Today's players want a total vacation, hotel plus flight, and must save over $300. Go.
I need a deal to Cancun.
Oh, that's outrageous.
Done. Congratulations.
Thanks.
It's that easy.
Save up to $200 on hotel plus flight to Europe, the Caribbean, or Mexico, only when you book on Orbitz and go.
Trey Wingo here with Kara and Stacy. Thorburn hurt, Kim Smith struggling. Not good for Utah.
Well, it's not good because anytime you play a team that is so proficient in scoring offensively, you have to score. And I'm not sure they can manufacture enough points with these two players not playing well, one of them out.
There's no science to it. They're not going to win if they don't have Shauna Thorburn.
We'll see what happens with Thorburn in the second half. Plus, coming up at halftime, we'll look ahead to the LSU-Stanford game. That's all in just a minute. Meanwhile, back to the pit. Pam Ward and Nancy Lieberman.
All right, Trey. Meanwhile, Maryland's waiting for their star, Crystal Langhorne, to get on track. Our Star Watch dimly lit tonight.
Yeah, it's been a problem, especially for Kim Smith. Since she's been here in Utah, she is 3 for 19. And they really need her to get started. But on the other side of it, Christy Tolliver, who's been sick, has not been able to sleep, who's just a freshman point guard. No turnovers in 10 minutes, and she's done a wonderful job knocking down shots. But Pammy, this is a kid that has a 2-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Must have been all those years of, she was at the Olympics with her dad back in '96. He was an official. And she used to get on the court and shoot with KJ, Kevin Johnson. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, she hung out with Dream Team too.
Right.
And grew up around the game. Said her dad really made her love the game of basketball. Langhorne triple-teamed and walks. Great defense by Utah, spearheaded by Jessica Perry. And the frustration continues for Langhorne inside.
This is where, when you're a young player, you have to go to your counter move. See, right here, she wants so badly to go to that right shoulder that she's not reading where the double team is coming from.
She's fortunate. Really, they could have called her for an offensive foul, but just the travel.
But this is where you need to get the Brooke Smith counter move. I have every counter move available to man video.
Boy, did she use that in Stanford's win over Oklahoma. Felipe over Harper, but Kim Smith, 10 rebounds for Kim Smith. She's not scoring, Nancy, but boy, is she working hard. Can she score now? No. Gives it up to Felipe. Warburton can shoot, and she shows us.
Yeah, nice shot by the freshman. Good presence of mind. The kid is the complete package. The sister plays basketball at Southern Utah. The other sister plays at Weber State. And she is sorely needed to score.
Very athletic, terrific player out of Carbon High School in Price, Utah. Harper cut to the basket, can't hang on to the Langhorne pass, and Utah can take the lead. Duran hustling. As we go over to Rob Stone, who has word on Shona Thorburn.
Well, it is her right ankle, and that's an ankle that has been bothering her the entire postseason. She badly sprained it her final home game during senior night versus TCU. Gutted it out with ice and treatment, scored a game-winning shot in overtime versus Wyoming. Right now, she's still in the training room. They are icing it up. They're going to tape her up. They think she can come back. Not sure if it's going to be this half, though.
Thanks, Rob, as Utah takes its first lead since 6-3. Jessica Perry is outscoring Crystal Langhorne 6-4.
Jessica Perry only averages 7 points a game and plays about 23 minutes. She's getting better looks.
7-0 run for Utah. Coleman crashes to the floor, and she is in pain. She was fouled, but Marissa Coleman took a hard thud on the floor.
What a great freshman year she has had. She was #1 for freshmen in rebounding in the ACC, scoring in the ACC, blocks, assists. See how she uses her great body control there to create the foul.
And the foul is on Kim Smith, her first. 16 fouls for Utah, 5 for Maryland. Coleman was the ACC Rookie of the Year, and the 83% free throw shooter misses. For live stats and game recaps from all rounds of every championship, go to NCAAsports.com. NCAAsports.com, the official online home for all 88 NCAA championships.
Pam, is it me, or is that it seems like the altitude, the fatigue is getting to both teams? Kids that normally knock down shots are coming up a little bit short.
Arlie Norez in as Coleman will take a breather. Maryland team did not look to be winded at all against Baylor, and when I asked them about it, they said that they were not really affected by it, except for the rain. But they do look a little spent today as Perry misses and Langhorne rips down the rebound, and they get Perry for the foul. So Jessica Perry almost had point number 8. And that's now 17 fouls against Utah, so Maryland shooting the rest of the way.
Okay, look at the spacing on the floor. One, a little on ball. Again, look at the spacing right here. If you don't keep your principle, you point a finger to the ball and a finger to your player, you're going to end up getting front cut or back cut. They are so good, Utah, moving without the basketball. And their spacing is so good that you can't double team them.
Langhorne misses the front end of a 1-and-1. 71% free throw shooter. Utah tied up the 5th seed here in the Albuquerque Regional, and a timeout is taken by the Utes.
Crystal Langhorne, I know, is just chomping at the bit to get some shots that she wants, but look at the defense right here. They're not letting her get offensive rebounds. She had 124 on the year. They're taking away her right shoulder. The one shot she had, she got to the foul line. Look at this, she's got a lot of company that she didn't invite to her party.
Yeah.
Way too much red, huh, Pam?
I'll tell you. Got to give a lot of credit. How about Jessica Perry, the sophomore? Langhorne also a sophomore, but she has been ripping up the NCAA. Maryland with wins over Sacred Heart, St. John's, and Baylor, but tonight, very ordinary. In fact, she's being outscored by Perry.
Well, she's being outscored by Perry, but this was the game plan by Elaine Elliott. You don't have 490 wins in your career, and she is one of the great masters of teaching defense. She is a teacher of this game. She is not a coach in this game.
Like you already mentioned, they have led the entire nation in defense 3 of the last 6 years. And then on the other side, you have the motion offense. And Brenda Fries told me today, we've not faced a team this year that runs motion, and it's really tough to get ready for a team that runs it with just one day in between.
Absolutely. This offense reminds me of when Rick Majerus was coaching and Keith Van Horn played for the men's team. They could move him around the same way they moved Kim Smith around. Very difficult matchups.
Langhorne too high, another turnover. Nope, but they're going to say it is off of Perry. Maryland very fortunate they did not turn the ball over. 8 seconds to shoot now.
And also Jeff Judkins told us at BYU he learned the motion offense from Rick Majerus. She had a chance to see it up close and personal.
So with 8 seconds left on the shot clock, Brenda Fries is going to draw something up. 2006 NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbitz continues on ESPN tomorrow night. First at 7 Eastern, 5 Mountain. Tennessee faces North Carolina in the Cleveland Regional Final. Then at 9 Eastern, Connecticut Duke in the Bridgeport Regional Final. The NCAA Women's Championship Regional Final is a part of a week of madness presented by Harley-Davidson on ESPN. Both games in high definition on your exclusive home for the Women's NCAA Championship.
Yeah, you are amazing. Your education is stellar. But
Kim Smith talking with her head coach, and just a terrific career. This is a 4-time Conference Player of the Year. She shared it with BYU's Ambrosia Anderson this year. Shared it with Shona Thorburn, was it last year? But still, that's a remarkable thing to come in and just be that dominant from day one.
Well, she was dominant from day one, and the connection, 6 of the 13 kids of the team are from Canada. I know that makes Stacey Dales Schumann proud.
You know what? At the beginning of the show, you said Christy Tolliver would be okay, even though she's a sick puppy. And look at that, 8 points and a couple of threes.
Do you remember a game in Utah where Michael Jordan was on IV the night before, came out and had an incredible performance?
Larson's incredible. She has a couple of threes. That's 8 points, and we're tied up again.
Larson needs time and separation, and they run that little flare screen for her, and she does a great job of finding the open area.
Duran, finally. Shea Duran, she must feel much better about herself hitting that too, because she is now 1 for 6 from the floor.
They say Duran has rock star status in Tel Aviv. Yeah. They have the Shea Shake, and all their games are on TV. No other basketball games are aired in Israel.
Shot clock is off. Utah trying to go into the locker room at least even with the Terps. The 2nd seed in the Albuquerque Regional. Smith called for the charge. Yes. as Duran goes down rather hard. Kim Smith with 2, and Maryland, they scored with 0.6 seconds left against Baylor on a baseball pass from Duran to Langhorne 2 days ago, but now they have to go full court.
But, and you have to also be careful, because if you throw the ball out of bounds or you get it turned over, you know where they're going to get the basketball back?
Ashley Newman to Coleman, who had it blocked. So the Stars have not come out tonight. Kim Smith at least has 10 rebounds, but Crystal Langhorne, who had 34 2 days ago against Baylor, only 2 shots and 4 points for the Terps. As they head up the ramp, let's go over now to Rob Stone and Elaine Elliott.
Coach, how does Thorburns' absence affect your team?
Well, they're battling. I mean, we're sitting here in a 2-point game. So at this point, you play with who you got, and our kids are going to keep playing. They're not going to give in because of that. We'll just see what happens. I love their heart.
How have you achieved the defensive success against Crystal Langhorne?
Well, we felt like there was something she really wanted, and we wanted her not to get that. We've done a great job with that, and we made sure that we gave help if she tried to do anything else, and it's been successful.
What do you say to Thorburn in the locker room?
Well, I got to go see how she is. I mean, she's had a bad sprain for 2 weeks, so I know that's what it was. If she's done, she's done, and we're going to battle it out, and she got us here, so she'll be proud.
Coach, thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So Maryland only leading Utah by 2. Shona Thorburn, we have word, having that ankle taped back up, but the Utes only down 2 as we join Trey Wingo for our halftime report.
All right, Pam, thanks very much. That's the trophy both of these teams are playing for, hopefully to have a right to put their hands around and get to the Final Four in Boston. Welcome into our halftime show. Trey Wingo here with Carol Lawson, Stacey Dale Schumann. All right, guys, really simple. If you're Elaine Elliott, the head coach of Utah, and I told you before the game Kim Smith would be 0 of 7 from the floor and Shona Thorburn would be in the locker room getting an ankle taped up, and you're still only down by 2 points to Maryland, you'd take that, wouldn't you?
Oh, you take it, without a doubt. And I think they've done a tremendous job. What Kim Smith has done is still playing in other aspects of the game. She's been stellar in rebounding basketball, stellar defensively, and you just kind of hope, if you're Elaine Elliott, that your 2 stars are able to come and give you some type of offensive output in the second half.
And I think, obviously, losing Shona Thorburn changes the game. I don't think without her they can win the game, but they're staying in it because they're taking away the left block from Langhorne, and that's what Elaine Elliott was referring to in that instance. I think this game comes down to the wire, and I think athleticism wins with Maryland.
We'll see what happens. Crystal Langhorne, only 2 shots in the first half. I'm sure Brenda Fries is going to make that a point of emphasis. Let's try and get her more involved in the second half. Meanwhile, other news to report on. Some good news finally out of that crash in Homestead, Florida. Ed Carpenter, the other driver in that crash that claimed the life of rookie IRL driver Paul Dana, was released from a hospital today. He suffered no broken bones. He does have a bruised lung. He has not yet been cleared to return to racing by the Indy Racing League. Football news for you now. ESPN's Monday Night Football debut will be September 11th with a doubleheader hitting both coasts. At 7 o'clock Eastern, you have Brad Childress and the Vikings in Washington taking on the Redskins and all that money they've spent defensively. And then at 10:15, West Coast audience gets served as well. One of the great rivalries from the AFC West, the Chargers and the Raiders. Doubleheader of Monday Night Football, September 11th on ESPN. Lots more coming on our halftime show when we return. Simone Augustus, can she and the Tigers make it back to a 3rd straight Final Four, or will Candace Wiggins get Stanford back there? Talk about that in a minute.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is presented by Harley-Davidson Motorcycles. It's time to ride. And in part by refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Ortho Weed Be Gone Max. Sprayed here. Ordinary weed killer here. Weed Be Gone's weed targeting formula killed the weeds, but not the grass. The ordinary weed killer killed both. Ortho Weed Be Gone Max kills weeds, not lawns.
I won't take all that they hand me down, 'cause once I get started I go to town. 'Cause I'm not like everybody else. I'm not like everybody else. Like everybody else. Like everybody else. Like everybody else. Like everybody else.
Ortho Weed Be Gone Max. Sprayed here. Ordinary weed killer here. Weed Be Gone's weed targeting formula killed the weeds, but not the grass. The ordinary weed killer killed both. Ortho Weed Be Gone Max kills weeds, not lawns.
Hi.
Hi.
I need this package there by tomorrow.
Sure, no problem.
Great. Thank you.
Less support for higher education means fewer innovations, like overnight delivery and the Google search engine.
All right, let's go. Sacramento. Come on. Let's go.
America's colleges and universities. We teach the people who solve the problems and change the world.
You want convenience? Get your cable, internet, and phone all from one great company.
Go ahead. Make the call for unlimited local and long-distance service coast to coast. Talk to anyone, anytime, for one low price. Get all your favorite features you expect at no extra charge, plus no new equipment needed. One low price, one great company, one bill.
Make the right call.
Save up to $550 per year when you buy all 3 services together.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by Courtyard by Marriott, redesigned by business travelers for business travelers.
Halftime, and it's the three-point shooting of Julie Larson, best three-point shooter in the country, keeping the Utes in it. She's got a couple of long ones and 8 points. Maryland, though, leads Utah by 2 at the break in the regional final in Albuquerque. Get you back to the second half of that game in just a little bit. Coming up, the second game of our doubleheader here on ESPN, San Antonio Regional Final. That roughly starts about 9 o'clock. You have LSU trying to get back to their 3rd straight Final Four. Stanford and Tara Vanderveer trying to get back to a Final Four for the first time since 1997. Dave O'Brien and Ann Myers look ahead.
Thank you, Trey. San Antonio is the battleground for the second entry into the 2006 Final Four tonight. Top-seeded LSU against number 3 seed Stanford inside the AT&T Center. Annie Myers, this one with all the talent on display, the wealth of talent on both sides on the court tonight, has the feel of a Final Four matchup, not necessarily an Elite Eight game.
Both these programs are familiar with being in the Final Four. Stanford has won 2 national championships, and LSU has been to the Final Four the last 2 years. And they've done it with Simone Augustus, Player of the Year last year, 2-time SEC Player of the Year, averages 58% from the floor. And then Sylvia Fowles at 6'6" in the middle, averaging a double-double and just a terror on defensive end. Then you've got Brooke Smith in the middle, just has a variety of shots for Stanford with the career-high 35 points the other night. And then Candace Wiggins, 2-time Pac-10 Player of the Year, just a terrific talent, both ends of the floor.
And Stanford behind Wiggins and Smith jumped out to leads of 9-0 and 19-4 against Oklahoma on Saturday. LSU 1 step away from joining the men in the Final Four. The Stanford Cardinal looking to return to the Final Four for the first time since 1997, coming up tonight on ESPN. So that's the story from San Antonio, the home of the Alamo, and the site of tonight's Elite Eight matchup between 2 terrific teams. Let's go to Trey.
Dave, thanks to Stanford folks. So happy even without the tree. They're still ready to go. Game time coming up just about an hour, hour and a half. Okay, let's focus in on that game for a second. So much of Stanford's success against Oklahoma in the Sweet 16 round was the ability to limit Courtney Paris in the middle and also get great production from their centers, especially Brooke Smith. Can they do that against Sylvia Fowles and LSU?
Well, I think they can. They always have a terrific game plan under Tara Vanderveer, but it's not just Brooke Smith who scores the points. I think it's Kristen Newland. I think she's the key for Stanford from a defensive standpoint. And yeah, she's 6'5", but look at the space between Courtney Paris and herself. There is none. She is body up, contact the entire game for 40 minutes, and although Courtney had 26 points in this game and 16 boards, she was relentless and never stopped defending. She used her arms to create contact when there was a little bit of a gap, and she tightened up with her body on the catch. And I think she did a really good job turning her the right way, although I don't know if she necessarily has to turn fouls because Courtney Paris is a little more polished to both sides.
And then you have Simone Augustus. How significant is she going to be for LSU in this game, considering if they neutral each other out and Brooke Smith in the middle for Stanford and Sylvia Fowles in the middle for LSU?
Well, I think that's where there's a big difference between what Oklahoma brought to the table as opposed to LSU. If you do pay a lot of attention like Stanford did to Sylvia Fowles, she's not even the best offensive player on the court. It's Simone Augustus, the reigning national player of the year. She can do so many things, so I'm anxious to see what Tara Vanderveer has in store for this player, and she's seen it all over the course of her career. She knows how to score. She knows that defenses are geared towards stopping her every night. So I think this gives LSU a distinct advantage. But to me, you look at the Stars, it's going to be the 5th best player on the court, in my opinion, Shalonda Hostin. Sometimes the Stars negate each other in productivity in big games. How do the role players step up? I think LSU has the best role player to help them get the win.
Well, we saw that in their last game when all 5 of their starters did have double figures in that matchup against DePaul. A contrast in styles, Stanford averaging 83 points a game in the tourney, LSU only giving up 51. Terps by 2 at the break. Stay with us.
We did it for the clutch players. New beds, new lobbies. Courtyards changed it all for the go-to guys. Deeper mattresses, crisper sheets, wider open spaces with Wi-Fi, easy chairs, and freshly stocked 24-hour markets. All new, all for the players who suit up and take the field.
Courtyard, redesigned by business travelers for business travelers.
Go team.
Huh. Calories provide energy, but how much energy do you need? Powerade Option, the low-calorie sports drink.
Wow, that guy that took the elbow says he's in bad shape.
He's better now. A kid from State may go pro. He decided not to.
So Tech is favored to win.
They didn't.
How do you know? This is today's news.
No, this is...
Fine. Phone boy.
Singular MediaNet. Latest scores, breaking news, bracket challenge. If you've got Singular, you can personalize your phone for NCAA March Madness.
To get a 2-for-1 deal on radial tires in here.
Singular, raising the bar.
How hot is Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich? Wendy's whole breast filet is fired up with our famous blend of cayenne, chili peppers, and spices. It's a fireball of flavor. Bite after bite. Don't clown around with knockoffs. Get more meat and more heat with the original spicy chicken sandwich, only at Wendy's. So come on, heat seekers. Do what tastes right.
Calories provide energy, but how much energy do you need? Powerade Option, the low-calorie sports drink.
Over the last 100 years, millions of NCAA student athletes have gone pro in something other than sports.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by Powerade.
Marissa Coleman doing her part. This 3 helping Maryland to a 2-point lead over Utah. The break, second half coming up in just a little bit. Maryland by 2 in the regional final in Albuquerque. Only by 2, even with Kim Smith struggling for Utah, 4-time Mountain West Conference player. And Shona Thornburg out of this game right now. What does Maryland have to do to lengthen this lead in the second half?
Well, offensively, if you want to get the ball to Langhorne, you're a big girl. I think you have to be more active on the weak side with your offense to occupy the defense.
Maryland on the defensive end, I think they need to stay alert defensively. What Utah does better than any team in the country, capitalize on your mistakes when you fall asleep.
I'll tell you what, Utah has done well against the ACC this year. They're 2-0 against them. They would be 3-0 if they beat Maryland. We'll see if that happens. They'll have the call second half right after this.
Hey, nice Harley.
Yeah. Yeah. Had to get it, you know? It's great. It's the way I live my life, you know, by my own rules. Well, that's my creed or motto. My credo, you know?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to live like by the edge of my... Can you believe the crime in this town? It's crazy. It's like broad daylight right in front of us. It's like, hello, it's my bike, miss.
Maybe you should get your own. This is March Madness on Wheels.
It starts with the Pontiac G6, bringing more power than Mazda 6, delivering better fuel economy than Nissan Altima, offering features the Volkswagen Jetta can't, starting at a price they can't touch. Google Pontiac and check the stats for yourself. March Madness on Wheels is going on now.
On a good day, I would barely make a splash. Now, I hope for as much impact as possible.
There are over 360,000 NCAA student athletes, and just about all of us will be going pro in something other than sport.
Here, aches dissolve, pain drifts away, and frozen frowns melt. If you could buy one of the world's most luxurious hot tubs for as little as $2 a day, wouldn't you? ThermoSpa's hot tubs are lavishly designed, and they're the only hot tubs that can come with luxuries like built-in refrigerators, towel warmer compartments, and much more, all for less. Why? Because they come to you directly from us, not through retailers. Thought luxurious hot tubs were beyond your reach? They're not when they're ThermoSpas. Call us today and you'll get our half-hour educational video on hot tub ownership, plus our complete catalog on ThermoSpa's full line of hot tubs. All free with no obligation. Call now and you'll get free delivery and installation too. ThermoSpas, luxurious hot tubs made affordable.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is brought to you by Harley-Davidson Motorcycles. It's time to ride. And Pontiac. Vote for this round's Pontiac game-changing performance at ncaasports.com/Pontiac.
Either Maryland or Utah, one of these teams away, just 20 minutes away from being the first team to punch their ticket to the Final Four in Boston. Maryland, the number 2 seed, leading the number 5 seed Utes by only 2 at the break. As Utah did a terrific job frustrating Crystal Langhorne, who had 34 points against Baylor 2 days ago. But now we're underway in the second half.
And really, it's not just what she's done to Crystal Langhorne. The fact that of the 29 shots in the first half by Maryland, 22 were outside shots. That goes against inside out of what Brenda Frese wants.
Not the game plan. Laura Harper only took 1 field goal, or 1 shot, and missed it. Shot clock at 3. Can Coleman get there? Oh, I think Coleman got there. Let's go over to Rob Stone.
Guys outside of the Utah locker room, the first person out of that locker room, guess who? Thorburn. Talked to the team trainer. She told me she put everything she could on that ankle, and she's obviously giving it a go right now as that ball flies right by me. But if she cannot continue to go, it'll be Larson and Warburton sharing the point responsibilities. As far as the Maryland bench, Coach Frese with some great motivational words. Ladies, you are wasting your ability on the offensive end. Guards, time to step up and be big-time players. Get it on, Maryland.
You know who's a big-time player, Rob? Christy Tolliver.
That is her 11th point. Not only is that impressive, but the fact that the freshman only had 0 turnovers in the first half. She's making great decisions.
In case you're just joining us, she is one of several Maryland players who had stomach flu. She did not sleep at all last night to Christy Tolliver. And you couldn't tell by the way she's playing.
No, she's playing great. But you know what? Maryland talks about not having respect. Nice inside delivery to her partner in crime, Harper, from Langhorne. But I have to tell you, Maryland left the court the other day, and they were walking up the ramp that Rob Stone has been up about 8 times, and were chanting, "No respect, no respect." You earn respect by winning. That's the only way it happens at this level.
Absolutely. That's well off the mark. Harper got in front of the Carlson shot, and they have a little shoving match all the way down the court. Duran has not shot well, and then what was she doing? She got caught up in no man's land.
Well, she's got to go up with her shot. I mean, she's got to have confidence right now.
That's good defense by Tolliver.
If Maryland will push tempo, they will get shots before the Utah defense sets up.
Boy, Coleman well short on that three-point attempt. She, along with Julie Larson, coming in leading the country, hitting 50% of their threes, and Laura Harper thought she had all ball, but she's whistled for her second personal foul.
Well, she certainly has a long reach, and she's a great shot blocker, second in the ACC this season. You know, she had verbaled to Connecticut, and then the dreaded phone call the next day to Gino or his staff saying she had changed her mind.
Kim Smith only 2 points. She scored her first and only point in the first minute of the game, as yet to score a field goal. And there's the big 2. As Kim hits both of her free throws that time. But Smith and Thorburn, 2 Canadians, 2 seniors, fabulous players. They've meant so much to this organization, as they would say in Canada. They average 31 points a game, and tonight, struggling. Thorburn toughing it out, though, on that hurt right ankle. She's a battler. Coleman, do they give her the bucket? No, an offensive foul.
And this is a problem right now. The 4 shot, that's great position. Kim Smith rotating over. It's not the first line of defense, it's the second wave of defense that makes Utah so good in helping each other.
Smith with only 3 points, but has 11 rebounds, 4 assists, and drew that tough charge. Guarded by Harper, who's really long. And a foul called. I think they're going to get Langhorne, and they do.
Kim, a team that wants to run has to get the rock, and right now, Maryland has been struggling with that. It was tied at the half, 21 rebounds apiece. As a matter of fact, it was Utah that had more offensive rebounds during this tournament. Maryland had been out-rebounding their opponents by almost 18 a game.
Kim Smith has finally hit a field goal. Took her almost 23 minutes of game time to do it, and that's a huge 3. It's a 1-point lead for Maryland. Harper all the way to the hoop, in and out. Rebound, no, a foul called against the Terps.
Right here, if you're going to knock down threes, make it opportunistic. See right here, Harper doing a good job. She had her left hand to the shooter, but Smith, her eyes were on the rim. She needed that for her confidence.
And Laura Harper has just picked up her 3rd personal foul. She heads to the bench for Maryland, and Jade Perry checks in.
Well, Jade Perry has done a really nice job. It's pretty much a 2-headed center from that opposite spot to Langhorne.
4 fouls on Maryland in this half. Can Kim make it 2 in a row? Yes, she can. Kim Smith heating up just in time, and Utah takes the lead. The 5th seed pulling off the upset.
Pam, if you see Kim Smith's shot, her release point is up high now. It's not being pushed.
8 straight points for Smith. Langhorne goes to work.
You got to go to your bread and butter. The All-Americans are Smith and Langhorne. They must control their destiny of their teams.
Only Langhorne's 2nd field goal. Thorburn, bad ankle and all, and that certainly might have affected it as she hits herself and says, my bad.
Boy, Kim Smith is just killing it. She averaged almost 20 points a game during the regular season. You make shots with your eyes. Look at the loft under her shot. She has not had that much air under her shot. That softens her shot. That's why she's a great shooter.
All-time leading scorer in the history of Utah and the Mountain West Conference, averaging 19 points a game, but really struggled in her 2 games at the pit this season until today. She's still in single figures at 9.
Yeah, but also not only is she a great scorer, but she's #1 in offensive rebounds, #1 in defensive rebounds. Tolliver is big time.
Christy Tolliver with another 3. She's hit 3 of 5 from out there, and Maryland leads by 3.
Well, she might have been sick, but she's about making Utah sick right now.
Winner of this game gets the winner of Tennessee, North Carolina. They play tomorrow night in Cleveland. Smith again. Kim Smith finally into double figures. The third game she has played in this building this year, and a double-double for Kim, 11 points, 11 rebounds, the 9th double-double of the season for her.
Does she not look like she's got renewed energy as Tolliver has taken over this game with Kim Smith?
Kristi Tolliver again, 15 points. She is 4 off her career high of 19 against Duke. Smith again. So it's Tolliver and Smith.
It's game time, baby, and the stars are coming out for both teams.
Maryland only up by 1. Inside of 15 minutes left to go. The winner goes to Boston. Ashley Newman, number 21, in for Maryland. Another outside threat. Way downtown! You talked about Michael Jordan. He was sick and hit all those shots. Tolliver's doing the same thing.
Freshmen are like that. You know, you never know what you're going to get, but they happen to have amnesia quite a bit. They don't know what they're supposed to do. They just play.
Oh, Kim Smith is playing. What a cut. Tolliver and Smith exchanging baskets on either end. This is fun. Maryland by 2.
Okay, I'm going to make an assumption that this game just got a little bit interesting, not only for the fans, but also for the players. This is about pride.
Langhorne goes to the foul line. Kim Smith has scored all of Utah's 14 points here in the second half. So you get off to a slow start, but you knew Kim Smith wasn't going to quit.
The FIFA World Cup this summer on ESPN and ABC.
Folks, I've been informed we'll be in a holding pattern for the next hour.
It's time to play Take On Orbitz. Today's players need to alert each of their clients they'll be late for a meeting from midair.
Oh.
Ready? Go. Done. Orbitz notifies anyone you're running late automatically. Introducing Orbitz TLC. You get treated like a VIP only when you book on Orbitz and go.
I know what you're thinking. You're thinking fries can't actually be crispy out of the microwave, but they are. All right, you think that was just a fluke, don't you? Try another one. Crispy. Impressive, huh?
Yeah.
Converting the ultimate skeptic. That's the Ore-Ida effect. Introducing Ore-Ida Easy Fries. In just 4 minutes, you're eating the first fries to get truly crispy in the microwave. Ore-Ida Easy Fries.
Give me the dew. A hand.
You wish.
I hope it's all fizzy. We're good.
It has been Kim Smith on one end and Kristi Tolliver on the other here in the second half. Smith with 14 second half points, all of Utah's points. Tolliver has 10 in the second half. This telecast available on ESPN HD, presented by the Dish Network. How neat must it be to see these kids shooting in HD? Crystal clear.
Yeah, you can see the rim a lot better.
That's the way it must look to them.
You know what, they're just feeling the game right now. That's what I love about basketball. It's so, you just react to the moment. You don't have to huddle up and figure out what the next play is. These kids are playing on instinct.
Maryland led 30-28 at the half. And now still up by 2 as Crystal Langhorne heads back to the free throw line. Last time she was there, she missed the front end of a 1-and-1. Langhorne, 4 30-point games this year, including back-to-backers in the tournament, 30 and 34 respectively. First Terrapin ever with 4 30-point games in one season. And she's only a sophomore. But tonight, 8 points.
Yeah, well, it's got to be tough recruiting to the $125 million Comcast Center. What a beautiful facility that is. And for Brenda Fries, all you have to do is walk a recruit in there, and she's done that, what, 3 straight years, top 10 recruiting classes.
It is a stunning building, and you could see, and she certainly saw when she left Minnesota after 1 year, what a great job it was with the building and just the DC-Baltimore corridor for recruiting. Smith is fouled as she crashes to the floor. Now let's take a look at our Home Depot coaching adjustments.
Okay, right here. See, this is where you want to watch on your screen. This is kind of a bait play. Utah is baiting Maryland. They want to get the ball. Stop it right there. They want to get it to Langhorne. The minute she catches, she's got a tea party going here, and they collapse on her. It looks open to the passer, but it's not open. You've got to reverse the ball and then dive her.
Speaking of a dive, this was not a dive, as Jotina Felipe crashed into Duran, and that's just them like taking the bait, right, on the coaching adjustment you just showed us. That's exactly what Utah wanted them to do.
Oh, absolutely, and you can see right here what they have taken away. They have decided this is the big factor in the game. Coaches spend endless hours watching film, breaking it down, looking at tendencies, and this is what they've come up with.
Oh, right inside to Langhorne, and she's not going to miss. Tolliver with the assist. Langhorne finally into double figures. She has 6 points in the second half, and Maryland's opened up a 6-point lead. See if Kim Smith can score again.
That's a good matchup right there. You've got Duran trying to guard Kim Smith. The advantage, Smith.
And she takes it. Smith now with 16 points here in the second half.
But Pam, that's also great recognition by the passer to sense where the mismatches are coming from. Smith, she's not a 4, she's not a 3, and that right there is a big-time young lady in Christy Tolliver.
Are you kidding me? Christy Tolliver. Been sick. You're just joining us. Did not sleep at all last night. Stomach flu going around the Terps. But she's been unbelievable.
Yeah, well, I hope she has TiVo, because this is going to be fun for her to go home and watch.
Oh, good double team on Smith. Larson, the first, no. Still waiting for someone other than Kim Smith to score in the second half for the Utes.
Yeah, Larson went wrong way that time. She went right into not only the baseline, but other defenders.
Oh, that was nice, except Coleman could not finish it. Tolliver with another sweet dish. Tolliver averaging 7 assists in the NCAA tournament. Should have had one there, but Coleman blew it and then committed the foul. 3 fouls for Marissa Coleman. Laura Harper also has 3 for the Terps. Christy Tolliver could probably hit, I don't know, Santa Fe tonight.
Because she's flat out money. The step back here, graded separation. She's got a beautiful release to the basket. Eyes on the rim. She's feeling it. Look at this. This is an NBA 3. She stopped. And this is affirmation right here that, yes, I've kicked another field goal. She's 3 for 3 this half. And if she was sick, you would never know it.
And the 21 points, a new career high. She had 19 points in a loss to Duke earlier this season. Meanwhile, Kim Smith, she's okay too. She has scored all 14 of Utah's second half points, but right now the Utes are down 7.
Well, I really believe that stars have to be stars and role players are role players in big-time games.
And Kim Smith has really shown that she is a star here in the second half. They're playing with their point guard Thorburn with a bad ankle.
And you go right back to her. That's a matchup. That is a matchup Kim Smith will win virtually every time.
So why is Maryland allowing that matchup then? Because Duran is discernibly shorter.
Well, they move her around so much, and you also have to make sure that you've got somebody on Julie Larson who they put opposite. So if they run somebody to help Duran, you're leaving your three-point shooter, the best three-point shooter, with Coleman open.
That is Larson. So, so many weapons. Smith finally proves she's human in the second half as she misses the front end of that free throw. Maryland with 17 fouls, only 2 called against Utah. That was Duran's second personal, by the way.
Pam, the tempo of this game has now changed to Maryland. They're getting shots a little bit quicker, and they're not allowing that man-to-man sagging man of Utah to consume them.
Duran still struggling from the floor, 0 for 4 from 3. Felipe misses. Newman boards it for the Terps. Trying to get back to the Final Four for the first time since 1989, when they played at the Tacoma Dome. Back in the days when the Final Fours didn't sell out, now it's a really tough ticket.
I tell you what, since 1993 in Swoops, as in Hoops in Atlanta, every Final Four has been sold out.
How about that assist for Kristi Tolliver?
Oh, that's FedEx. That's beautiful delivery right there.
So Tolliver feeling it on both ends, and finally somebody other than Kim Smith has scored, and they need that. Larson, their huge three-point threat.
Okay, you got to find her in transition. If you celebrate too much, she's going to put one down on you.
She's hit 3 of her 5 threes today, and they're still in this thing as we hit the 10-minute mark in the second half. Maryland by 6. Tolliver again.
Oh.
Are you kidding me? Why let anybody else shoot at this point?
No, she's in a zone. You have to continue to go to who's hot.
24 points for Kristi Tolliver. 16 here in the second half.
And eventually, you're going to have to go so far out on her, it's going to give Langhorne more opportunities for that one-on-one coverage.
So Larson, their three-point threat. Carlson, yes! Heidi Carlson, her first field goal is a 3.
The book on Carlson, don't let her set her feet. She had her feet set, Pam.
Oh, big time. That's it. She is a spot-up shooter all the way, and she spot-up, shot it, and made it.
I heard her say 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi.
And 3. It's in. Langhorne posting up, gets separation, and gets fouled. Quickly, let's go to Rob Stone.
Well, Nancy, you said shooters, when they're not off, they have to have amnesia. Well, defenders who are defending hot shooters also have to have amnesia. During that last timeout, Utah head coach Elaine Elliott was talking to Heidi Carlson, who has been defending Tolliver all game. She said, hey, stay up in her. You're doing a good job. Turn her into a driver. And then she started preaching to the rest of the team, you guys need to help Tolliver out with your own defending to make it a little bit easier for number 5.
She has hit all 4 of her threes, Nance, here in the second half, as Kristi Tolliver, and some of them have been beyond NBA range.
Okay, you know, the difference in the second half for the inside, while they're getting some inside looks, is because they're starting Harper and Crystal Langhorne low, and then they're bringing Harper to the high post, which is taking away that weak side defense. Take a look at this right here.
We're going to look at how Maryland has been doing that, as Maryland now takes a timeout. We'll do that on the other end of this break so we can see why Tolliver starting to rip things up. Maryland by 6.
That was an awesome show.
Awesome.
Hey, would you mind?
No problem.
Me too. So, are you the bass player or the drummer?
I'm not in the band. I'm just here for the Bud Light. Who's pen?
Johnny! Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Who's Todd Schischler?
Since 1989, Coca-Cola has provided more than $35 million in college scholarships. And as the NCAA's first corporate champion, Coca-Cola proudly supports 88 NCAA championships in 23 sports for 360,000 student athletes every year. Satisfying a thirst for learning, both in the classroom and on the field. The Coca-Cola Company and the NCAA.
Still using a dial-up modem to connect to the internet? You're not getting half the picture. With Charter's high-speed internet, you get blazing speeds up to 100 times faster than dial-up. Enjoy full-motion video, digital music, interactive games. All your downloads are downright fast. Charter high-speed internet service is just $24.99 a month for 3 months when you order Charter Digital. Call 1-888-GET-CHARTER.
Menards is the place where you'll always save big money. Right now, all in-stock cast iron sinks from Elger are on sale. The Dumont with high-gloss finish is only $99. The risotto with an extra-large bowl is $129 after rebate. All in-stock Delta kitchen faucets are on sale. This chrome kitchen faucet is $44.99 after rebate, or the Saxony pull-out model is only $109 after rebate. Service, quality, selection, Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Trey Wingo here with the SportsCenter 30 in 30 update. The NFL's opening day schedule is out, and we've got a doubleheader on Monday Night Football. September 11th, first game 7 o'clock, Vikings and Redskins, and then at 10:15 an AFC West shootout between the Chiefs and the Raiders. Meanwhile, good news on the IRL circuit. Driver Ed Carpenter, hurt in that crash that claimed the life of Paul Dana on Sunday, has been released from a hospital. No broken bones, a bruised lung. He has not yet been cleared to return to the racetrack. Complete details on SportsCenter, 11 o'clock Eastern. Now back to the game. Pam Ward, Nancy Lieberman.
Thank you, Trey. Christy Tolliver has 16 points in the second half for Maryland. And Kim Smith has 16 points in the second half for Utah. And you see it's been Tolliver and Langhorne really doing most of the damage for the Terps. Tolliver has been unconscious. That one comes out. Finally, she misses a three in the second half, but then slashes in. Langhorne, third time's the charm.
Well, anytime there's penetration to the rim and everybody rotates, there's an opportunity for a putback. Not many people are better than Langhorne. Coming into the game, she had 124 offensive rebounds this season.
12 points, 8 of them here in the second half for Maryland's leading scorer.
It's an interesting matchup. Harper is guarding the point guard, Thornburn.
And there's something unusual. Julie Larson taking a two, a driving two with that, and she puts it in for her 13th point.
Well, 80% of her shots on the season are threes, so you've got, it's an easy scouting report.
And that's an easy path to the basket. Tolliver probably anticipating some contact, doesn't get it. And Smith comes away with the basketball. Maryland up by 6 inside of 8 minutes. Winner goes to Boston. Inside, Tolliver grabs it. Tried to call the timeout, but the ball is going to stay with Utah. Maryland leading in Albuquerque.
So, John and I are thinking of going to Cancun, if we can find a good deal.
It's funny. So are Dan and I.
It's time to play Take on Orbitz. Today's players want a total vacation, hotel plus flight, and must save over $300. Go.
I need a deal to Cancun.
Oh, that's outrageous.
Done. Congratulations. Thanks.
It's that easy.
Save up to $200 on hotel plus flight to Europe, the Caribbean, or Mexico. Only when you book on Orbitz and go.
The Hilton family. 9 distinct hotels. One simple philosophy.
Ortho Weed Be Gone Max. Sprayed here. Ordinary weed killer here. Weed Be Gone's weed targeting formula killed the weeds, but not the grass. The ordinary weed killer killed both. Ortho Weed Be Gone Max kills weeds, not lawns.
And so they came. The office plants. They left behind the cubicles of the commoditized, enticed by the allure of the innovators. For the office plants, they knew that innovation brings growth, and only in growth do all pots get watered. IBM, innovation for growth.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of the NCAA Women's Basketball Championship is presented by Orbitz.com. It's that easy. Orbitz and go.
Albuquerque, as you might expect, some of the best Mexican food you can find anywhere, and some of the best basketball you can find anywhere. The sopapilla, oh, you put a little honey on those pastry things, oh, that works. Maryland up by 6 as we take a look now at our Harley-Davidson game track.
Well, when you take a look at what's happened in this game, stars have been stars. Christy Tolliver, career high. I have to tell you, if perfection is unobtainable, don't tell that to Tolliver, because she has 4 assists, no turnovers, 6 for 8 from 3 in 26 minutes. Not a bad night's work.
Oh my gosh, she's on the bench taking a break. Lest we forget, she was quite sick, didn't sleep at all last night. Duran. terrific free throw shooter will head there as we head to Rob Stone.
Well, Pam, how do you manage somebody who is in the zone right now? They are treating Kristi Tolliver like she's a pitcher throwing a no-hitter right now. They're not talking to her. They're not discussing with her. They're not looking at her. And frankly, she is in her own little world as well, just kind of staring out, attending to her own matters. During that last timeout, though, she came over and kind of flung herself on that last chair at the end of the bench. She is really gassed, so a good move pulling her out right now.
And I don't think you want to touch her either, because you don't want to have what she has. You don't want to get what she has. Well, you don't
Oh, no,
want to
you
get the
want
shooting
what
touch.
she has. Yeah, you want what she has, Pam, because she is just stroking her shot tonight.
And as you saw a shot, Joanna Burnaby, one of the assistants, sitting next to her, and they were heading up the ramp. There's Joanna before the game, and Joanna was in her ear the whole time, basically telling her, you can't let this get to you. You know, you're going to be all right, and kind of, because she is a freshman, and sometimes freshmen, and she has a tendency to let things get to her, and she obviously hasn't let this get to her.
No, freshmen are a very interesting species. We're just now starting to do research on them.
Coleman has not scored in the second half. In fact, if it wasn't for Laura Harper's bucket, only Tolliver and Langhorne have scored for Maryland in the second half. And that is 4 personal fouls on Marissa Coleman. And Utah's getting closer. Jessica Perry has a chance to complete the three-point play.
They do such a great job of getting to the spots they have to on the floor. You know, Connecticut won 3 national championships in a row because they were a great passing team. Utah is a great passing team. They average 17 assists per game.
Marissa Coleman out, Tolliver in.
Good substitution.
Perry doesn't get the three-point play, excuse me.
I was going to say 70% of Utah's offense assists. The buckets, I should say, come off assists.
So Coleman has been struggling today for Maryland. 4 fouls, 1 of 8 from the floor. Tolliver back in for her. Ashley Newman now the shooting guard, number 21. Langhorne splits the double team. 16 points for Langhorne.
Much better job of Maryland. Their adjustment in the second half was where they put their opposite post in Laura Harper. She is now taking that double team away, which would come from Kim Smith.
Langhorne has not missed from the floor here in the second half after going 1 for 2 in the first half. Coming out, Perry, not really the shot you want her to take. She's a 31% three-point shooter, but they're down by 7 now as we approach 6 minutes, and Tolliver, the freshman, a career high, 24 points, running the show for the Terps.
Look at the 1-4 flat. She doesn't even want a screen, and some players need the screen. She does it because she wants to make her decision without an extra defender.
She's now missed 2 straight threes. Gets the Thorburn miss. Shona Thorburn playing on that ankle that she retwisted today, and she has not scored in the second half.
There's been a couple games this year, certainly in ACC play, where Tolliver took more shots than Crystal Langhorne. And I thought, you know what, you've got to get the rock to your All-American center. But in a game like this where you're feeling it, you got to go with it.
Newman, that's too hard. Thorburn with the rebound. So Maryland taking a couple of threes, the last couple of trips down the floor. Thorburn is fouled by Newman. Ashley, she now has 3 personal fouls, and the team fouls mounting for Maryland, that's 9.
Thorburn is so good, just like Kim Smith. If you're defending her, she attacks your shoulder. If she's driving right, she attacks your left shoulder, which forces you to drop step, and she has the advantage, the angle advantage to the rim.
Thorburn has more assists than anybody in the history of Utah or the Mountain West Conference. Remarkable considering she was a 2-guard her first 2 seasons and has only been a point guard her last 2 seasons, so she really has just been spectacular.
Yeah, and she had that fight with Elaine Elliott. She didn't want to make the move to the point guard because she didn't want the responsibility of setting everybody else up and running the plays, and I think she's done okay.
Yeah, she went into her office every day and said, hey coach, we recruit a point guard yet? And the answer was no, and that was a good move. Tolliver again has now missed 3 straight outside shots, and Maryland's got to be careful with the basketball. 5:06 left to go. They'll hang on to it. 2006 NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbitz continues on ESPN tonight at 9. Stanford LSU in the San Antonio Regional Final, part of a week of madness presented by Harley-Davidson on ESPN. This game also available in high definition on your exclusive home for the Women's NCAA Championship. as Utah takes a timeout.
You know what? Utah takes a timeout before the TV timeout at the 4-minute mark because this is a very important possession for them. Possessions are at a premium right now, and Elaine Elliott knows we have got to get a score off of this.
All right, Rob Stone has something now on a little secret of Utah's recent success, Rob.
Yeah, this is a good one, Pam. At the 2002 Winter Olympics, a Canadian working on the ice at the hockey venue slid a loonie, which is the Canadian dollar coin, into the ice. That year, both the men's and women's hockey teams won gold. So this year, the Canadian Olympic Federation gave special good luck loonies to all of its athletes. Well, Shauna Thorburns' mom was able to get a hold of some and gave every member of the team one before this year's Mountain West Conference tournament. At that tournament, following the legend, team trainer Deb Willardson hit a loonie under the Pepsi Center court. They won it all. Last week in Tucson, she hit one under the bench. They won it all. They hit another one under the bench the other night. They won it. They are 6-0 with the lucky loonie.
And the Willardson is charged with finding a place. It's a top secret hiding place. And Christy Tolliver has gone cold, and Utah is in this basketball game.
Yeah, and our Inspector Clouseau, Rob Stone, couldn't even find out where they hit the loonie.
Oh, Larson's going to shoot 3 free throws. And if that's on Harper, that's 4.
So you really have to jump over that screen. And, you have to be alert defensively if you're Maryland. You don't foul Larson. You put a hand up. You're bigger than her. She's only 5'4".
And she is... Actually, they're not saying Larson was fouled. Excuse me, it was Thorburn. So Thorburn is going to go to the free throw line. Shona's a pretty good three-point shooter, but not nearly as good as Larson, who's 50%. Tied with Marissa Coleman for best in the country. So this could be 3 gift points right here. Harper sits down with 4 fouls, Jade Perry in.
And not only do you get a chance to get a breather, but Utah gets to go back, set their defense. Maryland in the second half has done a much better job of beating the defense down the floor and getting early opportunities.
Thorburn hitting those free throws, and it's only a 3-point lead for the Terps. And this crowd, New Mexico is a Mountain West school, and a lot of the local folks cheering for Utah, another Mountain West school. Duran for 3. They've missed 5 straight shots, all from the outside. Langhorne makes it 6 straight misses. And a foul against Utah on the rebound. All of a sudden, Maryland, like in the first half when they were not playing well, just throwing up jumpers.
They have stopped going away. What got them this lead is going inside to either Harper, Perry, or Langhorne. She is a beast, Crystal Langhorne, if you do not put a body on her.
Felipe with the steal, and here comes Utah, only down 3. Maryland, the 2nd seed in Albuquerque. Utah at number 5. And Elaine Elliott calls a timeout with 16 seconds left on the shot clock.
And she's 1 second from getting a media timeout. Again, that tells you how important these possessions are for Utah.
Maryland played at Boston College earlier this year, and Brenda Frese decided to take her team to the site of the Final Four.
I really wanted to take our team through there so they really could understand the big picture of why they're working so hard this season, and to understand, hey, if we get it together and we work hard, anything is possible, and that we dream and we dare to dream big, that we want to be playing in the Fleet Center this season.
TD Bank North Garden, the site of the Final Four. But Maryland can't be thinking about Boston right now. They got to think about Albuquerque. As you see, they're trying to get back to the Final Four for the first time since 1989. This Utah team is pesky.
I'll tell you what, Pam, for so many years, Maryland has wanted to be the team to get the upset. Now, they don't want to be upset. That means you're really good.
Oh, Tolliver coming up with a huge rebound. Every shot, every rebound magnified right now. Maryland has missed 5 straight jump shots. And now Tolliver, the freshman point guard, slows it down.
And you pretty much have 4 guards and Langhorne in the game. And that's a bailout because Tolliver made a bad pass.
Big time. Maryland fortunate that Felipe is called for a 4th personal foul because that was a bad pass and a turnover waiting to happen. It is a good time to be in Albuquerque. Utah and Maryland battling it out for a place in Boston.
Okay, nice Harley.
Yeah. Yeah. Had to get it, you know? It's great. It's the way I live my life, you know, by my own rules. Well, that's my creed or motto. My credo, you know?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like to live like by the edge of my... Can you believe the crime in this town? It's crazy. It's like broad daylight right in front of us. It's like, hello, it's my bike, miss.
Maybe you should get your own. When it comes to our handcrafted mini burgers, no detail is too small. The Ruby Minis are here. 4 little masterpieces, 1 big burger taste. Ruby Tuesday.
Hey, it's... Your call dropped again, didn't it? Nope, just calling my brother to say, hey, it's... I thought you were calling him about the game. No, just wanted to say, hey, it's... There's a lot between my brother and me, so my tone on those words, hey, it's, really expresses everything I need to say to him.
Tired of dropped calls? Switch to Singular. Singular's all-over network has the fewest dropped calls of any wireless network. The leading independent research company proved it.
Hey, it's me. I'm here with...
Singular, raising the bar.
Crisp leaf lettuce, fresh vine-ripened tomatoes, 100% USDA choice ground beef, handcrafted burgers, Ruby Tuesday.
Someone's gonna love you.
R-E-S-P-E-C-T, me. Swagger right. Check. Game set. Check. And it go. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Swagger, no question about it.
Check. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, me. Swagger right. Check.
LSU's got the swagger. They get set for their game coming up at 9:07 with Stanford. That's next on ESPN. Back to the game in Albuquerque.
As LSU tries to get to its 3rd straight Final Four right now, Kristi Toliver, who was so hot at one point, has now missed her last 4 shots for the Terps.
Well, the good news is that the Terps are still winning the battle of the boards. They have out-rebounded as Langhorne goes up. Their opponents 31 of 35 games this year.
And Langhorne got a huge rebound there as the Terrapins slow it down. Maryland has missed their last 7 shots.
And that was the 5th offensive rebound in the game by Crystal Langhorne.
To go along with 16 points, Toliver finally hits one after she went ice cold. Building on that career high now with 26.
Well, you can also thank Langhorne. She gets so much attention that you don't want to switch and have one-on-one coverage, so it opens it up for the shooter.
5-point lead, Warburton, easy path, and she converts it. Warburton, her first basket of the second half, and it's down to a 3-point lead.
Managing the clock, managing turnovers, but keeping your intensity for both teams will determine probability and outcome.
Toliver, a freshman point guard, running the show for Maryland. Taking it right to Thorburn, left-handed, off the rim, no good. Coleman rebound, held ball, possession arrow, Utah. And now Smith is shaken up. You think these two teams don't want to go to Boston?
Let me tell you what. The nice drive here by Toliver, but if you're ever going to get into like a little scrum or raw right here, Smith is going to lose that battle right there because Marissa Coleman is huge and she is powerful.
And Smith, the 6'1" senior. How about 17 points and 18 rebounds for Kim Smith? That is unbelievable.
But not a surprise.
Not at all. Works 24 hours a day on basketball, lives for it. Warburton, her second straight easy drive to the basket. It's a one-point game. For the second straight trip, a breakdown on the Maryland defense.
Warburton makes the layup, but the play goes to Kim Smith. Look at this screen right here. She's going to seal after she passes right here. She seals off the defender, opens the lane. That is understanding basketball. You make the pass, you give it up, and now she's reading. You read the situation. She did not allow Tolliver to rotate.
And that's, again, an example of Kim Smith. Not just the points, it's 17 points, but all the little things she does. 4 assists, 18 rebounds, and then, you know, that's not going to show up in the stat sheet, but that's her play.
She's the greatest player in Utah history. She's supposed to come with the goods.
There's our game reset as we go over to Rob Stone.
Pam, Nancy, you guys saw how much pain Kim Smith was in on that last collision on the other side of the court. You see on her left elbow a black protective brace that she has been wearing all weekend. She has repeatedly ruptured, burst, whatever you want to call it, the bursa sac on that left elbow. That's why it was so tender on that initial contact.
Look at her line. Maryland up by 1 with the basketball. Ron picks up her dribble. Ashley Newman with the drive, way off the mark. And now Utah can take the lead.
Wow, I cannot believe they didn't run a play.
Thorburn, in and out. Rebound, hustled, no, it's a travel on Ashley Newman. 1:21 left to go in this game. And the pro-Utah crowd is whipping itself into a frenzy.
Okay, you have to see the basketball here and find the shooters. And you know, the other thing is you can't just be in their general location. You must have a hand up to the shooters. If a shooter sees the rim, they're open.
Thorburn driving on Tolliver, trying to create, does not draw the foul. Newman hits the deck. Langhorne is finally fouled. My goodness. Football kind of stuff going on now. Shona Thorburn called for her second, but that finally we are at 17 fouls for Utah. 1-1 coming up for Langhorne. You can find the complete results from every site of the NCAA basketball tournament, as well as information on future championship sites at ncaasports.com, the official online home for all 88 national championships.
Langhorne is 70% foul shooter on the season, and Maryland very uncharacteristic, only 7 of 13.
She's 4 for 8 today, but Coleman with the huge rebound. Possession arrow in favor of Maryland. As they're discussing, I assume, whether it's a foul or a held ball. They're going held ball. So Maryland hangs on to it. Langhorne, 4 for 8 from the free throw line tonight.
Hey, Pam, if this is the start of how bad teams want to get into the Final Four, then they have raised the bar for the teams following them. We saw great action yesterday with Ivory Latter making that shot and Barb Turner hitting a huge three, the biggest of her career.
Maryland with only Duran as a junior on the court. Everybody else either a freshman or a sophomore. Tolliver using the screen from Langhorne.
We'll give it to her.
Triple teamed, kicks it out. Coleman, 4 on the shot clock. Off, rebound Utah. About a half a second between the game and shot clock. Will the Utes get to the Final Four? 0.7 of a second difference between the game and shot clock. Utah gonna draw up a play and see if they can get to the Final Four.
Well, Utah is out of timeouts right now. Maryland still has 3. I would not be surprised to see them take all the time that they want. They're going to make 4, 5, 6 passes, and they're going to front cut you. They're going to back cut you. You must be disciplined if you're Maryland defensively.
Offensively, Maryland not so disciplined. They've had trouble getting quality shots, but a good job by Utah. Langhorne triple team whenever she's getting the basketball lately, and they're just throwing up jumpers and aren't going in.
But a lot of that, Pam, was also spacing.
There is your reset. No timeouts, as Nancy mentioned, for Utah. Double bonus Should Maryland foul Utah, they would take 2 free throws.
Okay, the shooters to look for. Certainly Kim Smith. You don't need 3s, you need 2. Thorburn, she could take you off the dribble. She loves it when the clock is down to break you down. She's got a great handle. Larson, if you collapse, she's the 3-point shooter. I don't imagine they're going inside. They're going to go to one of their big 3s.
Maryland has now missed its last 7 shots from the floor. And here's what we're looking at. The winner of this game plays in Boston against the winner of tomorrow's North Carolina-Tennessee game. Coming up right after us on ESPN, LSU Stanford on the other side of the bracket with Duke and Connecticut.
These are career games for some of these players. This is a great maturation game for Maryland. They wanted to be here. They're the number 2 seed. 2 seniors, Smith, Thorburn. The history of Utah's program decides what happens.
Larson's your 3-point shooter. Thorburn gonna take it right at Coleman, and she's fouled! 7.8 seconds left to go. Thorburn, a 74% free throw shooter. And she will head to the free throw line. She's 4 for 4 from the line tonight as Maryland takes a timeout. We have an ending coming up here, the good one in Albuquerque, but right now let's go to Trey Wingo.
Pam, unbelievable finish there. Will we see that same kind of finish in our second game? Candace Wiggins and Stanford taking on LSU. That's after this game. Let's send it back to you, Pam.
All right, Trey, 7.8 seconds left. Maryland calls the timeout. Thorburn going to shoot 2.
Okay, that's a really good timeout right there by Brenda Freeze. You want to try and freeze Thorburn as best you can, but you also get an opportunity to determine what you want to run down at the other end. Look at this right here. We said she's better with the ball. This is just a little setup play to give her one-on-one and give her angles to the rim. The senior, a terrific foul shooter, 73%.
Thorburn went down late in the first half, spraining a right ankle that's been bugging her for the last couple of weeks. The senior from Hamilton, Ontario, misses it. Unbelievable.
Pam, this is the pressure of the game. Sometimes you don't have your breath.
She ties it up, but Maryland has 7.8 seconds left to win it and go to Boston. Tolliver, crazy shot, in and out. Duran, no, we're going to overtime. Maryland hoping to get a foul call. Tolliver had a little bit more time, forced one up. Maryland's now missed 11 straight shots.
Well, I know she was trying to push the tempo and get it up the floor, but check out the clock. She ended up taking this shot with about 3 seconds to go. At least it was early, and there was a chance for the rebound.
But what I saw was Marissa Coleman all by herself flashing down the left side. She hits Coleman, and Coleman has a much easier shot, but we're going to overtime. Everybody catches their breath here in Albuquerque. We're playing at least 5 minutes more.
The game is on the line. The pressure's on. Here's the situation. You've got 2 children. College tuition is in sight. Retirement is breathing down your neck.
Who do you go to in the clutch? Over 50 million customers rely on us when their money is on the line. Insurance, loans, retirement. AIG.
I wasn't sure about this whole 5-minute date thing, but I feel like we have a connection.
I feel it too.
Maybe we should go on a real date.
I don't know about that.
Why?
It would upset my fiance, probably.
You're not single.
Oh no, I'm just here for the Bud Light. What am I supposed to say? Hi honey, I'm dating Amy. Not cool.
Refreshingly smooth Bud Light. Always worth it.
Good sir. Hey, sweetie.
Welcome back to Albuquerque, where 40 minutes is not enough to determine who will win and go on to Boston. As the NCAA Women's Championship presented by Orbitz goes to overtime, Maryland missed its last 11 shots of regulation. Shona Thorburn missed 1 of 2 free throws. Had she hit 2, the Utes would have gone up with 4 seconds left, but let's play. The winner will play the winner of North Carolina, Tennessee, in Boston. Maryland is 4-0 in overtime this year, all of them on the road, all of them against ACC opponents. Will that help now?
Well, you don't know if it'll help, but Maryland, the last time they have been held to under 65 points, it's been 8 games already.
Langhorn to Harper, good recognition. And Harper with only her 4th point of the game. Utah 1-0 in overtime this year. They won in overtime in Laramie against Wyoming. Felipe, huge offensive board, but Coleman gets it. Terps by 2. Now, in those overtime games, Nancy, Maryland, in all of them, got out to great starts and held on to win. Coleman, well off the mark, but a rebound to Harper.
Shot selection is so important when you're in overtime because you have a limited amount of possessions. Nice play by Harper on the offensive glass.
She's all 4 of Maryland's points here in overtime, and that one's thrown away. The freshman Warburton throws it away. I want to let you know that if you want to, we're all waiting for this next game, LSU and Stanford. Don't worry, they have moved the tip back to 9:12, so you're not going to miss a thing, because we got to show you the end of overtime, and we will. Maryland by 4 with the basketball. Harper to Duran, 5 on the shot clock, back to Harper. 1 pass too many. Harper needed to go up with it, and she threw it away.
Maryland was trying to be very patient on that last play. They were taking the ball side to side, making, it almost seemed to me they were making tentative passes. You cannot play this game to make a mistake. You must play to win.
Do you think they were letting the shot clock go down, playing the shot clock too long?
If I'm Maryland, I don't want the shot clock to go down because that is adverse to my style of play.
They do average 84 points a game. Harper, good defense and gets the rebound. So Utah has yet to hit here in overtime. And again, Tolliver walks it up. Utah's missed all 3 of its shot in OT.
Well, they're doing a good job of trying to run their high-low offense. That's a great shot right there by Duran.
Oh, in and out, and Harper and Coleman battle for the rebound and are fortunate to come away cleanly.
Well, you got new clock here, so use it. If you're Tolliver, just get in the middle of the floor. You have options to the left, options to the right.
Duran is 1 for 10 from the floor. Coleman is 1 for 10 from the floor.
Now, if she penetrates against Thornburg, which you can because you know she's got the bum ankle, you've got shooters on each wing.
And she does it, but misses it. So Tolliver, who at one point couldn't miss, now can't buy one. Utah down 4. Smith screaming for the basketball. And a foul called against the Terps.
Yeah, that time Shea Duran rotated out on Warburton. See, those are the foul is called. Robert Trammell, who's the lead official here, they called the foul on Shea Duran. Warburton wasn't going to hurt you. Look at this right here. She's not going to hurt you from out there. All you have to do is close out to recovery. You don't have to close out to block.
And they say it's a two-shot foul, so it's a little baffling in more ways than one,
yeah,
as Warburton goes to the free throw line. She was clearly beyond the arc. The question was it a foul and was she shooting? I guess those are the other questions, but
it almost looks like she was passing off of that.
But, you know, they're in the double bonus anyway, so she get the 2 shots. Maybe that's what they called, is that it was a pass and not a shot. We can only guess that that's what it was. She hit them both. Stanford LSU coming up after this game.
Okay, well, the freshman Tolliver has decision-making to make right here.
Oh, good cut to the basket by Duran. That's a good decision, and what a great cut.
Excellent. That's just a read. If I come your side, you go hard back door.
Maryland by 4. Kim Smith Is this her last game for Utah? Felipe. Oh, Smith, good thought, but just a little too hard.
Look at this beautiful play. This is a dribble entry right here. She comes your way. The ball was right by the hip of Carlson. A defender cannot do anything with that pass. Beautiful.
Brenda Frese calls a timeout. $1:30 left in the game. 23 seconds left on the shot clock. Can you believe this? We're coming back to Albuquerque with the Final Four trip on the line.
Wow, that guy that took the elbow says he's in bad shape.
He's better now.
A kid from State may go pro.
He decided not to.
So Tech is favored to win.
They didn't.
How do you know? This is today's news.
No, this is...
Fine, phone boy.
Singular MediaNet. Latest scores, breaking news, bracket challenge. If you've got Singular, you can personalize your phone for NCAA March Madness.
To get a 2-for-1 deal on radial tires in here.
Singular, raising the bar.
What a regional final this has been. Bodies crashing all night. Both Utah and Maryland fighting for one spot in Boston. The first ticket punched to the Final Four. And what a game it has been. The 5th-seeded Utes of Utah. They took out a tough Boston College team about 48 hours ago, and now they're trying to take down the ACC again.
You know, Maryland, who people said was not a good defensive team, has been brilliant with their defense in the tournament thus far. Utah, who they said, you know, was the 5th seed and maybe couldn't compete with Maryland, well, they've blown that theory out of the water.
Laura Harper in overtime, getting it done for the Terps.
Well, the sophomore who came back from an Achilles injury tear a year ago has been a great compliment to Langhorne. Those kids averaged 28 points and 15 rebounds combined. But look what she's done, very opportunistic.
She has 4 points in overtime for Maryland. Let's go to Rob Stone now.
Oh, great bedside manner here by Brenda Frese during this last timeout. She actually let her assistants diagram a play. They are calling up something for guess who? Crystal Langhorne. Time to get the sophomore back into this game. That and a lot of defensive talk saying be ready for the press when Utah scores.
Rob, I would think that what they'll do is they'll start Langhorne high and they'll let Tolliver either use her at that high ball screen, and she might be able to roll right to the basket if they run this screen right.
We were tied at 63 at the end of regulation. Huge possession for Maryland.
There's the pin. Get the ball into her.
They do, and Langhorne converts. A little late on the pass, Nance, but at least she scored.
Well, Coleman had her open. You got to give the ball early to your post. Great finish by Crystal Langhorne, who has got to be an All-American this year. I'm voting twice for her if she's not.
All right, 1 minute to go in overtime. 18 for Langhorne, 6-point lead for Maryland. Smith, the senior leader, to Thorburn, the other senior. Air ball, Harper has it. And Smith fouls her. 4 on Kim Smith. And it's still a 1-and-1 for the Terps.
I didn't think that was the shot that Utah would look for because Thorburn doesn't have any push from her bad ankle. But watch this. Look at that seal right there. She shows the big mitt as the target, engages the defender, and you make layups with your eyes.
So you say Langhorne's an All-American.
I did say that.
34 points against Baylor the other day, tying her career high. She had 30 against St. John's the game before. And now Laura Harper, who has struggled. There's Langhorne, and she's a sophomore. Harper also a sophomore. Stanford and LSU coming up when this game is over as Maryland tries to get closer to Boston. Harper hits the front end of the 1-and-1. She's only a 67% free throw shooter.
She's been big for Maryland tonight, and Lamont Jordan in the crowd. You know, this is a guy who has donated over $50,000 the last couple years to Maryland women's basketball, I might add. a great fan and friend of the program, a great football player for the Raiders.
Yep, was a terrific player for Maryland and was his high school girls basketball manager didn't want to do it and has fallen in love with the game.
Yeah, but I think he has a seamstress to make that Shea Duran jersey a little bigger.
A lot of X's in front of the L. Langhorne with another rebound. And Utah's got a foul.
Yeah, they have to foul early.
They got a foul, and they foul late. Thorburn whistled for her third, and Christy Tolliver will head to the free throw line. Christy Tolliver is going to be our Powerade player of the game, a career-high 26, hit 6 of 9 threes, and there was one stretch early in the second half where that kid didn't miss. She could barely hit the net. They were so clean.
Well, let me tell you, I don't care if she misses 5 more shots. This is a kid who was sick to her stomach. She's hardly slept in about a day and a half. She's been yakking. She has a stomach virus, hasn't eaten all day, but produced.
Wow, Tolliver now with 27 points, hasn't eaten all day, hasn't slept all night, and I don't think she's going to get much sleep tonight. Maryland actually going to go back tomorrow, not red-eyeing back. And as has been their custom in overtimes this year, Maryland just pulling away, up by 10, their largest lead of the night. Says Chris Taylor, my statistician. Felipe misses, Duran off her, Utah gets it, and Utah, what a great season they had. First time Utah or any Mountain West school ever got to the Elite Eight, and my goodness, what a battle they put up tonight.
Elaine Elliott is absolutely a brilliant, brilliant coach on both sides of the ball. A lot to be proud of. They got to the Elite Eight for the first time in their history.
A big sigh of relief for Maryland. For the first time since 1989, Maryland is headed to the Final Four. Fear the Turtle, they're coming to Boston. But what a hard-fought battle it was as Utah gave Maryland all it could handle. Maryland wins at 75-65 in overtime. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For Nancy Lieberman and Rob Stone, our entire crew. Let's go to Dave O'Brien and Ann Myers in San Antonio, Stanford, LSU.